Hello, and welcome everyone to another lovely Wednesday night stream where I, Nick, your host, zone leader. I used to host. I used to be leader. I was the guy who got up and said sort of the monologue at the start of the night. That's a thing. I think that's a host. I think a host can just be 3 moms and 7 rocks. I haven't seen Steven Universe in a while. I was like I've said this a lot. We're already off the rails. Listen, just crack one and kick back. We're just hanging out tonight, more or less. I have something specific to do, but generally we're just hanging out tonight. I've talked a lot about how I don't necessarily like being the one in front of the camera. I don't like being speeches. I don't like the spotlight, more or less. I do these things because for some reason I don't do that, push all the buttons behind the scenes for other people. I just do both. But a thing that I am, I think y'all heard that today. No, not yet. A thing that I am is I am somebody who, I kind of curate a zone is what I do. You may notice some upgrades to the texture zone back here. They're not all in frame. That's a Sonic Adventure Tomba that I drew. This is Terry Bogard with his Book It Pizza Hut Book It Club medal saying trans rights. This is my actual college diploma saying game design, arts and sciences. I don't know if you can read it here, but I was like, I spent a lot of money to get that piece of paper basically for the gag of video games college degree. And if I hadn't met my partner thanks to the pursuit of that bid, I might regret it, but as things stand, pretty good. Zones. I like a zone. I like to take a space. I like to be handed a space. Go, Nick, this is your space. Do with it what you will. Make yourself at home. And I'm like, oh, yes, I will. And I carve out a zone of comfort amongst the tempest that is just sort of the rest of the world as we know it. That's why I have the best girls over here and over here. We have so many rabbits. Hi Roo. We got Easter Rabbit over here. That's right. I gotta have more rabbits than that. You can't see it. It's on a shelf just out of shot, but I have Diva's mech, so that's kind of rabbit coated. I got Dratini. I got Nuclear Throne Chicken. I create a zone that is full, and it's not just all of my comfort characters over here, but also functional things. These are real. This is not a green screen. I can knock this over at any time that I want. It's watch it. I knocked something over. I'm not sure what. I'll do this with a set. I'll do this with a bedroom. I'll do this with a whole house if I somehow find myself in control of a whole house. I do it with the I do it with the stream sort of more conceptually. I've done numerous streams where I'm just sort of like rebuilding the overlay, rebuilding the scenes, because you have given me control of this zone of your monitor, however much zone this is. I just right before we went live, I changed the little background on a panel over here from one that I made by hand to one that I like, that somebody else made and put more effort into than I put into mine. Controlling for me it's down there, but the chat, the idea of like setting chat rules. Who do we ban? Who do we let in? What are we doing? That's almost sort of how I have adapted to what do I do in the spotlight as somebody who doesn't necessarily care about the spotlight. Is I kind of say, okay, well, what I'm doing is I am sort of controlling the space by sort of setting the tone, by the conversations I choose to lead by sort of, modeling responses to ideas and what do we want to focus on. And like, I hope I'm doing an okay job of being like, hey, we should be like nice and supportive of people and, help where we can and not. If you do end up being an asshole, apologize for it and try to be better afterwards. That I do try to sort of live by that. But like, I'm just setting a zone here. If you choose to join me on the zone that is this channel at twitch.tv/Oliku, or at the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Oliku. Oh, you gotta get the brand in there, Space Ghost. I'm creating a zone, and it's a combination of graphics and tone and all sorts of things. I love to make a zone. Now, can anybody remember why I was getting onto the topic of making a zone? When I was the leader, the host, or whatever, we did basically a video game club in high school, except we went a weird route about it, but whatever, it worked well enough until the cops kicked us out. But in retrospect, I feel like I feel like I'm over exaggerating the actual thing, but when you present it as like, oh yeah, we had a video game club until the cops kicked us out, it makes us sound more punk and cool than if I tell the story more descriptively. But I was sort of the leader of that, kind of, half organizer, half just promoter, kind of what I'm doing with this, but for an in-person event rather than just for a channel that you can leave on the screen to keep your dog company while you go get groceries. And I by the way, I don't consider that self-deprecating. I love to keep dogs and cats company. If it's just me and your pets hanging out while you go out, I am psyched about that, honestly. I would love to keep your pets company while I'm playing games and they're just hanging out and enjoying the fact that a friendly voice is there. I myself am quite dog coded. I don't necessarily I'm right between like a cat and a dog. I don't like interacting with you, but I do enjoy when you're around to keep me company and we can look out the window and look at the same things together. That's a lot of what streaming is. That's sort of the tone I'm building here in my zone. Boy, twitch.zone can't be an available URL, huh? I gotta get more .zone URLs. I think that's what I'm doing. Maybe after bonus round. By the way, May 19th, mark your calendars. Bonus round. We're doing a charity live stream with me and my mom, and we're gonna play a bunch of Hot Wheels games that I've started collecting, and hopefully I get done in time. I had to be the one who got up at the beginning of the night at that club in high school and be like, hey, here's what we're playing tonight, here's why. Sometimes it's, we're gonna go old school night. Sometimes it's, here's the fighting game that we all love. Sometimes it's like, hey, DDR, because that's a fan favorite. We did one like just as the 360 came out. Wow, that's right, that would have been like first half of 07. We had one with a 360 night, and we did I had one kid, I think it was like a friend of a friend, I don't even remember who it was necessarily, had a 360, was willing to bring it. I don't know if that was to show it off or just to have people to play it with or whatever. And the game that he had was Perfect Dark Zero, and so we played some multiplayer Perfect Dark Zero for like 3 hours one weekday night. I don't know, I still look back on those times fondly. But yeah, like, I've always been this kind of I don't necessarily like being a host. I have no desire for the spotlight, but as host, there is a lot you can do to sort of curate the zone, and I do love to curate a zone. So that's why I feel really weird calling myself like the host of whatever this is, because it's just like, yeah, welcome to my zone. As long as you're cool, as long as you're nice about things, you gotta act with kindness and self-reflect with humility, and usually that's enough to get you by. You know, it doesn't mean you will be perfect, but it means we'll be able to fix a lot of the friction that happens along the way. You know, that usually I find is a good way to keep everybody on good terms. But I like to think that I curate a good zone here, just as I did back in that club in high school, and a custodian. I'm not a host so much as like a custodian. I am the keeper and molder of the zone. I think I refer to myself as a curator a lot. That's because I also like to form collections. I've been doing a lot of work on, we have a Jellyfin server. Jellyfin, for those who aren't aware, is a piece of open source software that is a web server you can runs on a web server, something like that. And you basically get to run, it gives you a Netflix-like interface for all of your locally stored media. So I have been digitizing a lot of our DVDs. I've been collecting a lot of the media shared amongst roommates in high school and college on old external drives and all of that. And I've been doing a lot of... you can read about it at on some of my Patreon posts at patreon.com/EliteKoo. The brand is strong. Nobody knows it, but as you fall into it, it is boom, all right there. What am I going on about? Curating. I'm curating collections of movies and animes and shows. I just did a lot of organizing with my music. I'm curating that because curation is not just about like selection. It's also about sort of the UX of engaging with that collection. I want to do like a retro game collection. I'm thinking I want to sort of crowdsource amongst my friends some like game tier lists for like SNES, NES, and Game Boy era games. And then basically before analog sticks, after start buttons, right? Does that work? The Atari didn't have a start button. It had a reset switch, and you would like reset the software, soft reset the software in order to start the game. Yeah, after definitely post like having a select button on the console itself. Once everything was definitely sort of all the input buttons were moved to the gamepad. There's never really been an eject button on a gamepad, huh? Like they kind of had that. I know I ejected my 360 a bunch using the like firmware level menus via the controller, but I mean like a dedicated eject button on a controller. That's a really way to think about it, between start buttons and analog sticks. That's because that'll also get you into weird stuff if you want to start talking about like Wonder Swan, which is like Wonder Swan stuff, Game Gear stuff. Also, definitely like swappable media, right? So no Game and Watches. I'm staying away from arcade for the minute just because like arcade is trickier to emulate. It's not, I wouldn't actually call it hard, but there is an element of, it seems like the best way to do it is just to get complete collections, but like that's hard drive space, which, you know, not everybody complains about, but like, you know, if you're building a cabinet and you want to get your emulation game on point, yeah, you'll include as much space it needs to get a full like ROM collection just sort of set up on there. But you know, if you have a laptop that you do everything on that's already mostly full of stuff, like you're not gonna want to cram every arcade game on there. And then, you know, which emulation core versions run which game sets best. There's a thing there, and like You look at something like Lucky and Wild. That is technically a non-swappable media. What else are you playing on a Lucky and Wild cabinet? Like, you can get away with saying like SNK games. That is something I feel like a neat SNK? Yeah, Neo Geo. That's what I'm thinking of. MVS, multiple video system, something like that. You know, your gosh, that was such an interesting system. Having like a complete collection of MVS ROMs as its own collection, I think would be pretty satisfying. I'm really getting off it. It's fine, I'm getting off it. Like I said, it's a speaking of building zones, which is really just speaking of buildings. You know, I love to build a zone. That's sort of the thesis of this. Yeah, I'm not a host, but I do have an opening monologue. Go figure. Tonight we are doing a build stream. We are building. Oh, let me get out of lean back highway mode. I have something here. It was a gift from my aunt, who I hope I'm not telling this story sort of too out of pocket. My understanding of the story is my aunt is the one that I sort of get my love of Legos from, because she had a pretty sizable collection by the time I was, able to reach tables and push buttons and get into other child trouble. And so she has a pretty deep-seated muscle memory for buying Lego kits. But also, she is past retirement age, and she's trying to build a muscle memory for like downsizing and saving space and this and that. So my understanding is when she ordered the Game Boy Lego kit, she caught herself in between like proceed to checkout and filling in shipping address, because she bought this for the sake of buying this but had it shipped directly to me. So number one, thank you. That's the thing. The original old brick Game Boy is something else that her and I sort of bonded over. I still have mine somewhere. We had the link cable for the original Game Boy so we could play Yoshi's Cookie multiplayer. I think we only did it once, but we did it. And then I later on used that link cable to trade a Vulpix for a Growlithe. Is that the move that you would do? That's like the first sort of need to trade Pokemon that you would hit in original Red Blue. Gosh, that was so long ago. And the fact that I know I'm pretty sure Vulpix was blue only and I had red. So the fact that I remember even that much about the specifics of that whole system is dorky. Again, not as a derogatory term, but dorks are cute. Just look at me. So she sent me this, and tonight we're gonna hang out, and we're gonna hang out in this lovely zone that I've built here at Twitch TV, and I'm gonna build this Game Boy and just sort of have a good time with it, and probably ooh and ah at the little details that they've started. I would love to get my hands on the NES kit, even though I did not have an NES until after college. It was like a yard sale find, and I was like, ooh, fill the gap in my collection. I don't even, if I have 3 Nintendo cartridges, that's a lot. And one of them might be like piano module for a piano controller accessory that I do not have. Does that sound true? I don't know. Maybe I have a Zelda 1 cart, but Zelda 1 is... I think Zelda 1 would be like B tier. Mind you, my tiers, this is what I've been going with. It's like C, or sorry, SABCF. We don't have a D. Kind of, I would put everything in like B and D are kind of the same, or maybe B and A are kind of the same, because like S is it's great and you love it and you can go back to it. A is like, yeah, it's like, B is just means like it's solid, right? And then B is like it's solid plus there's like something novel about it, or maybe like there is something like really interesting about it that sets it apart, but you know, because it's being novel, it's not super solid about it, so it's just like it's, you know, it's a curiosity, and it's like, this is worth checking out because it's curiosity, not because it's super great. And S is just like, oh, this is just super great, yeah. And then going down, maybe we don't have a C. No, I was saying we don't have, like, A and B are together is what I'm saying. Yeah, so you have like S, A, B. C is just fine, solid, also ran a game. D is when you start getting into games that are like, it's just like, it struggles to reach solid. Like, there's nothing novel about it. There's nothing interesting. There's no curiosity about it. And like, it would be fine, but it has some sort of level of friction. It's got, you know, weird controls. It's got physics that aren't fun. I think a lot of licensed games end up there. You know, there are things that are just like confusing about it or unintuitive about it. And then F is just like, F is for like straight up like trash failures. Like, it's not just that there are things that rub you poorly about it. It is just like, this game is broken in some way. This game challenges you to try and complete it. Like, so if you've seen, which corner is it? Yeah, it's this corner of Bink. If you've seen my playthrough I did of Front Mission Evolved, when I played it on the 360 and it was a consistent experience all the way through, D, because it was just like, oh, it's solid, but it's kind of like short. It's, you know, sometimes even just like the sin of being boring. That's kind of C tier, but it's just like, maybe C tier is where you have like, it is interesting, but it's held back because it's flawed. Something like that. The PC experience, where you might remember there was a whole episode where I just had to sort of debug it and learn that like, oh no, actually you need to play the on foot sections with keyboard and mouse only, otherwise the game hard crashes. That's kind of F tier. So, you know, different platforms have different experiences where they rank differently. Link to the Past, A tier. Sorry, S tier. Super Mario World, S tier. I just had a third one. Nope, it's already gone. Mario Brothers 3, I'm going to say only reaches A tier, but I am a weirdo who is hard pressed. I don't know if you will find any NES games that reach S tier, except maybe Mega Man 2. Pretty much every other Mega Man game is A tier. Certainly of the ones I've played. Like even Mega Man 1, I don't think Mega Man 1 is great, but I think it's still like A tier. Mega Man X, I love Mega Man X. I would, in my heart, S tier. In my nostalgia memory, S tier. The science might only be an A, but it's pretty good. See, now X2 and 3 definitely only A tier, because they had kind of the like 3+ problem of like, they got a little too big for their britches. They were trying to be like a little too gimmicky, and it's just like, yeah, but then like part of what's so great about the best Mega Man games is they have like a simplicity to it. Like, you look like the chain of boss weaknesses is like, it is a puzzle to experiment and solve for, and then when you have it, then you can just come back and get it. And but like, you know, what is it, the thing with Mega Man 3 is like, it kind of had 2 chains to it, and it's like, okay, then there's like you're going to run into issues with that. You have to break into the chain twice. Ugh. I haven't played enough of those to speak it. I want to do a series where, in order to start my like curated tier list collections of these games, I want to start by playing all of the games I owned and currently own, which is interesting because there are some games that I picked up again as like yard sale, hand-me-downs, other people were clearing out their collections, whatever. There are some games I now own on cartridge that I did not own as a kid and thus played 100 hours of before I was in, middle school or whatever. So the idea of the games I currently own is sort of like an interesting thought. And then you can add to that games that I rented and kind of vaguely remember. Do you know there was a Road Runner versus Wile E. Coyote game on the SNES? And you play as the Road Runner? And the R button is dedicated to going meep meep, and the L button is dedicated to doing that little tongue flippy thingy. Just making the sound effects. I don't think it does anything in the game, but you can just go meep meep whenever you want. I don't think it's good, but it's got that going for it. B tier. Yeah, man. I want to do a series where I play all the games that I own currently, because there's only like 2 games that I ever got rid of. They were both PS2 games, and it was Max Payne 2 and Manhunt. Because Manhunt was kind of gave me the ick, because it is a game basically about like being coerced under violence to partake in creating snuff films, and that just icks me out really bad. But a part of me wants to revisit it, because if you had the microphone, it would listen, and you had to the sort of like range of enemies noticing you was dependent on how loud you were being in real life, and there could be something there. I think a much better version of that kind of idea is when I played Killzone 3, and the PlayStation 3 6-axis controller, which had the 6-axis motion sensors in it. When you were aiming down the sight of the sniper scope, the wiggle of the scope was synced to the wiggle of your hand and the controller, and that is actually one of the most immersive things I've still experienced in a video game. The idea of like, no, to keep your, there wasn't like, click the left stick to make your character hold their breath to steady the aim. I had to hold my breath to steady my aim, or lean on a table or something. Like, you actually had to like do something. It's the best use of motion controls I've ever encountered. C tier. C for solid. That's not how letters work. Okay. Let's stop talking about games. No, I didn't even say my point yet. I want to play all the games I own. I want to stack rank them, just per console, per platform, stacked ranked, just the games I own by me, and then take those and insert where the tier splits are, and that is going to be my baseline tier list that then I want to bring in guests to sort of contribute to. And then once I've had enough people come in and contribute, then I'll see about like doing something with that information, like maybe assembling something you can download that would say, hey, you want to check out, here's some S tier games that you could check out in some matter. I don't want to say anything too specific because of laws. Also I haven't like decided what I actually want to do with it. At some point, just an excuse to hang out, and it's one of the things that makes me a lot. But I do like having those dumb conversations about like, oh yeah, we're just what's better, Vanquish or cookies and cream. Cookies and cream, solid, but something interesting. AB rank. Vanquish, not necessarily something interesting, but like solid and exciting and memorable. And it had that stupid thing where you could throw the cigarette. Actually, I don't know how much is memorable. Doing that slide, it had a lot of memorable moments, and it was just like fun to play. Cookies and cream was more interesting than it was fun to play. So, cookies and cream, B, Vanquish A. I think. Vanquish A, would I really revisit it? Yeah, maybe in a while. I think the one I really want to be is Vanquish compared to Binary Domain, because Binary Domain felt like kind of an also-ran, but its big thing was your party members had vocal voice recognition stuff. I think I played it a little bit to test it out, and I was like, thanks, Big Bo, and he was like, no problem. And then like he shot me, and I was like, thanks, Big Bo, and he was like, all right, don't be mean about it. And I was like, whoa, that's actually a level of assessing what's going on that I was not expecting the game to go with. So I think there was something interesting there. Other than that, it was the other. So I think normally it would be like a solid but with flaws, so it would be a D, but it's got something really interesting about it, so maybe back up to a C. Quality is not always linear. Oh, my mic is loose. That's foreshadowing to something I'm planning. What we're actually doing is we're going to build this. We're going to at least start building this. I don't know how complex of a build this actually is, how long it's going to take. Let's get to it. The only other thing, while we're sitting here building this, if I hold it up like this, that'll look great for the thumbnail. Assuming I had it in frame. Yeah, okay. I've been thinking I want to pick like an intro theme for these streams. Right now, when you watch live, there's a I have the loading music, doesn't get saved to the archive, so I can get a little more freewheeling with it, let's say. But you know, a lot of times while we're hanging out, we're doing this. I know I'm kind of quiet anyway. I'm definitely going to be quiet tonight. I'm getting all of my talking out now, is what I'm assuming. I like to listen to the YouTube audio library music, find tracks. I would like to find a track that, you know, part of building the zone, curating the vibe. I want to be like, all right, what's like a track that maybe like, you know, feels pretty good. I had notes about like what the theme is. It's like, all right, computer stuff. So like maybe like a techno or dance, but also sort of like, I like funk just because it feels good, but that funk can kind of like the way that funk is part of the lineage that leads to like hip hop. But I don't know if you can really have like funky techno. Maybe it's out there. Would that even fit the kind of vibe that I'm going for? So what I'll say is I have audio library up. We're going to listen to that. I'm going to be thinking about, hey, do any of these strike me as something that would be like a tune that I think is fitting for the streams I run and, you know, fitting with our aesthetic and our vibes and whatever. And I'm going to be seeing if there's anything in here. Usually I just like listen for something I like, but specifically I want to look for, is there something that I would like to use as a theme? Maybe, you know, cut down, make stinger bits out of, because can do stuff like that. And again, for somebody who doesn't want to be a host, I have kind of created a like late show kind of setup here. I have an opening monologue. Your curator will monologue at you for a while and keep your dog company. See, I need like an interstitial. I can't just go from the thing to the thing. But if I throw us over to the bandstand, it's gonna take us to the wrong scene. Whatever. Let's do it anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for producer Joe and the Gremlings. And then it takes us to gameplay, but we're doing Dust tonight. See that? I need a sting for that little bit. It barely fits on the camera as is. Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna be like down here. I don't want you all looking at my bald spot, so let me just hi. Hello. This is a voice I use when I'm talking to the cat. This is this. I'm gonna start music. I have set our music to hip hop and rap, dance and electronic, and one more that I just blew away. Whoops. We're doing dance, hip hop and rap, and R&B and soul. Yeah, all right. Those are our three genres. The mood is funky, and I just wanna go down the list. I'm tempted. I'm curious, like, what should I sort by? It starts with the most recently added. There's one that was added March of 26. After that, it's August of 25. So there's a lot I've already starred on this list. I think we're okay to just listen to it again, right? I believe I have everything set right so that you'll be able to listen along on the archive. I'm hearing it. And if you hear one that you like and think it is quite fitting for the vibe I've curated in this zone, I also like Zone because it reminds me of the Sonic games, especially that Genesis era. Everywhere you go is a zone, Hydrocity Zone, Green Hill Zone. But yeah, I'm going to be keeping an ear open for something that feels very fitting. If you hear anything, listen along with me. If you hear one that you like and think is fitting, feel free to chime in, leave a comment. Time codes are your friend. You can put them into YouTube comments and it'll help everybody know what part of the video you're talking about. All right, show me coming with it. Nope, that's claim to fame, but okay. Must try to preserve the collector's value. Ooh. I have this game. I never had the original Link's Awakening. I only had Link's Awakening DX, which is the Game Boy Color. Wasn't a remake, wasn't a remaster. It was an expanded edition, I guess is the most accurate way to call it. Oh yeah, look at that Game Boy green screen. Oh, okay, okay. I shouldn't be this excited about just parts. Are we centered? We're looking pretty centered. Okay. Usually wants to start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will just leave them stacked in order. Over on the side. Keep my knife on me. Again, people are walking upstairs, and that's making my overhead camera. Trust me, I would love to be like on the top floor instead of the bottom floor. What do you say? I want to know what they do for those buttons. Using that weird one for the D-pad. Those look like sideways wheels for the start and select buttons. Oh. Oh, what if I could get the app set up and then make that part of the overlay? I could put that on screen. That's interesting. Thank you for selecting Lego Game Boy. Insert. Warning, clicking the power switch may result in acute feelings of nostalgia. God, I remember the Christmas I got it and had that book. Stop feeding my nostalgia. I want to build the thing. 3 lenticular screens. Whoa. Okay, so we're doing like sort of... It's not exactly fake PCBs, but... They're doing green on the inside. See, now if they did this and showed it compared to an actual, like... stripped down Game Boy. Super Mario Land. Link's Awakening. Small screen. Link's Awakening. Listen, if my tier lists are going to be hard on NES games, they're going to be harder on Game Boy games. But Link's Awakening is really good. S tier. Oh, you gave me a new spudger. Yay. Oh, right. And we're even going to be building the base, the like display stand for this. I like that. Okay. Pack 1 plus the lenticular screens. Oops. No. I can probably move this over a little bit. Get a little more of this on here. All right. That looks fine. All right. Bag 1. This is the vented bag with the... Is lenticular the ones where, like, they change depending on your viewing angle of it? Oh, it definitely is. Whoa. Yeah. Yeah, boy. I feel like I haven't seen one of these since, like, I don't know how old. Oh, and the Jumpy Mario. Boy, this is easier to see and make out than any Game Boy screen ever. Just in terms of the contrast. But also it has the exact same, like, shadowing that the Game Boy screen had when it moved. Alright, you also want these in here as part of these steps? Okay, you got it, Chief. Keep that close by. Alright. We want a piece. We want... This still... Oh no, we've gone like 3 songs down now. I hadn't even noticed them change over, honestly. There was a deluge of nostalgia coming at my face. Okay, they just had us make like a little drawer here. Let's see here. I'm still adjusting some things. Not that one. I need to look at desk cam. Properties. Configure the video. Is this a exposure issue? Is that better? Kind of better, but it really dropped the really dropped our frame rate when we go up that high. Gosh. Ugh. If we keep it here, but then I apply a quick filter to it, a little color correction, right? Stick with me, folks. We just bring the gamma up a little bit. Yeah, all right, that helps. Where's my... Show me the scope doc. Hi, it's me, the scope doctor. Yeah, maybe... That any better than where I started. I actually kind of lost the plot somewhere in here. We'll call it yes. I'm just going to say yes. I'm going to say that's better. Let's see here. I'm going to supply single pips. And now it's saying it actually sits this way. And we're going to store our lenticular screens in here. We've made a little slot for them. Okay, sure, why not? Oh, I gotta watch it. If I press down at the wrong angle, I'm stretching out my wrist, which it's already in poor state. For the sake of talking on a stream, I'm gonna mention I did go to the dentist today. I won't say anything heavy about it. I won't try not to describe anything because nobody wants that. But yeah, you want to talk about being in bad states. Wait, I did that wrong. I already did that wrong. I already failed to follow instructions. Honestly, I went in sort of expecting the worst news after sort of examination, but luckily I think I got spared some of the worst things that could happen. So I'm just I'm just kind of my tongue is going to go raw from rubbing my teeth because they feel different. Not bad, just different, because you know that's what happens after a cleaning. But aside from that, I'm just glad I don't have to think about it now for a little while. This weirdly big weight off my shoulders. Big weight out my mouth. Goku taking his retainer out on King Kai's planet. No, I've done... No, it goes like that. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, that doesn't feel right, but that's because they want me to put this here first, and I'm just not reading instructions, because... rambling. See, this one ain't bad. this track. Not I'm gonna say not techno enough for my taste, but they printed it on here, that Game Boy cartridge. But the thing is, like, what's so iconic about it was the way that it was like a little divot, like a nice sort of inset smooth rectangle, and this is actually straight up flat. So, you know, don't exactly have it. Game Boy. And it wants this one to go on top. Right. Somebody was actually pointing this out online. If you were putting this on top centered, that's incorrect. Game Boy cartridges have a notch on one side, because that was not copy protection, but something protection. It was so that when you turned the power switch on, a little finger came out to hold it in, so you couldn't rip the cartridge out while the device was powered on. It was sort of a hardware safety measure. That's a cartridge, but it's very... Oh, and then this has the clicky in it, because that's going to be the feeling of clicking it into the bottom of the slot. Okay. But this one is telling me... Damn, I live like this? I can't find my... It's fine, I got it. Gotta get that finger oil off. Or at least smudge it around real good. Well, I have things for getting oils off. Again, this is what it's come down to. This is a knock on a sort of maybe a logical conclusion of not conclusion, but a step on the path of being somebody who likes to build a zone, is the amount that I've gotten to refurbishment, the amount that I've gotten to, you know, model building and doing things in sort of clean ways. Actually, do I want to take this over, or do I want to like apply it like a band-aid, you know? You don't want to do it this way. I'm doing this right? Yeah, basically right up against that, centered. And hopefully pretty vertical. I even have the correct thing for applying. Well, it's really made for like applying vinyls. Like if I was applying a vinyl to the side of an arcade cabinet, this would be a great way of doing it, is using a tool like this. But that just really helps make sure there's no bubbles. That looks great. Honestly, the art is doing a big load of the work here for making it feel like a real cartridge. But also, you know, when it's on a shelf and you're looking at it, the fact that you pick it up in your hand is like, that ain't right. Hang on a second. Ugh. Where did I put it? Oh no. Yeah, why are you chirping? 1888. I think it's somewhere between funny and amazing that I knew exactly where to go pull this from. This being the case with my original Game Boy stuff. It's supposed to be like a hard shell, like CD jewel case, but I put Game Boy stuff in it. And you know, if we're building, let's see here. Yep, this is mine. This is a sticker I put on it when I was like 6 years old, maybe. Boy, oh, you can see this has done some road traveling. I'll have this out for the comparison later. Wait, that's Super Mario Land 2. Tetris. Where did I get 2 copies of Tetris DX? That's fine. Tetris DX is a good one of those. Why do I have Donkey Kong Land 2? I don't even like Donkey Kong Country. Tom and Jerry, bad game. The way I remember is okay, no. Empire Strikes Back, worst game. Tom and Jerry, I'm guessing a C. Empire Strikes Back, I'm going F. Sneaky Snakes, strange. You want to play Joe and Mac on the Game Boy? You don't. There it is. Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX. You can tell it's the Game Boy Color because it's the black plastic cartridge and it's got the big DX on it. So I'll put that one aside. But you notice the one that we didn't find yet. My Pokemon Silver, which is being... vocals. It's not a backtrack, but I'm talking. Held together with a rubber band because at one point I replaced the battery in it and I forget if I broke it taking it apart or if I just didn't care to put the screw back in. It's okay. I never even finished Silver. I played the heck out of Red and then I didn't care after that. Oh, but I have when did I get a copy of Pokemon Blue? Where's my copy of Pokemon Red? I think my copies of Red and Yellow are with my Nintendo 64 stuff. I'm looking 2 copies of Alleyway. There it is. Oh, sorry. Super Mario Land. Yeah, now we can just have a straight comparison. Keeping those 2 out. I'm gonna put these back. And I'll just leave this for later. Oy. Ah, Pokemon. That's what I was looking to put back. I'll put that in its place. What? Okay, I like this track, but it's too, like, high action. Okay, so here's our Super Mario Land Lego cart. And here's our Super Mario Land actual Game Boy cart. Ooh! Ooh! If it weren't for the height of that last one, that's really close. The sticker lines up pretty close. Well, so the sticker, I could have made the sticker like line up exactly from the bottom, not from the top. Well, so yeah, it has to be from the bottom because from there to there, that's like exactly perfect. That's interesting. It's just this top one, which the only reason we kind of need it is to give it the notch. Oh, it's off by 1. What does anybody remember the millimeter thickness of a Lego plate offhand? I'm surprised I don't know that at this point. I know 4 pips across is about like 30 millimeters because 32 millimeters wargaming, yada yada yada. That's not bad. And it doesn't show up well on camera, but that... Wow, the way that is a I swear on this original cart, the registration on the art is slightly off. Hey, Nick, who's doing an edit on this, if you remember, what if I take a really close-up picture and I throw it up in the VOD? That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? That'd be incredible for me to remember to do. Wait, does it help if I do anything here? No, not really. Well, kind of. But yeah, you can see the first appearance of Daisy, technically. The lines on Daisy are very thin compared to over here. But you can see how even like the submarine looks a little blurry. It's very clear on his mustache. Well, no, he looks better in the camera. There's a bit more of like a blur around it. The official is very thin, and this side out is a little thinner compared to over here where those are popping a bit stronger. It doesn't matter. I just like looking for details. I don't know if y'all know that about me, but like, that's close. Honestly, the way that it's off just by that length, but you do want that notch in there, that is so funny. That is so funny. Also a little... Wow, yeah, no, the card is actually thinner than the... or it's just exactly the same as like the 1x straight, so it sticks out by that much. Right, and also that's the part when you look at the Game Boy card, the way that this bit is beveled and then the bevel stops, there you can get a good look at that. Oh, that just feels nice. When you want to get a grip on it to pull it out, that little divot, that's perfect. This missing that is just like, this is just a weird square. But this, that's a good grip. That's pretty close in weight. Maybe the actual cart's a little heavier. It does have a metal screw in it. If this was not a cart with a battery backup, any of the carts with the onboard memory that would have had a battery backup for that, those are definitely gonna win on weight. But maybe it's lighter. That's really close. That's really close on weight. I'll give it that. Why am I giving it that? Who knows? Oh, I think Zelda is gonna have battery backup issues. Like, because I think, yeah, Link's Awakening had game saves, which means that one is probably completely dead. It's okay. It's just sort of like progress through the story. There's not like custom builds in that game. Okay. That diversion aside, this one still feels good. I wish the screen were a lot bigger, but this still feels like an okay size. Oh. Shush, you're the weirdo. Okay. It says you put it together and then you rest. Oh. Okay, so this is the sort of like clicky hinges, but these are just regular hooks. But the hooks fit into where the other end of the clicky hinges would go, and that's got a pretty satisfying snap in, and it's loose, but it is keeping it attached. That's nice. That's actually a really useful thing to know. See, but the fact that like when you set it off enough to get the notch, you also get the tiniest bit of overhang on this side, that's killing me. But now we have that. I could replace those pieces. I think I would almost rather have not the overhang than the notch. Anyway. Ooh, that part didn't feel good. I went to like put it centered on it, but no, these are like aligned with the back edge of it. That's cute though. Oh, and it hides the frames when it's doing that. Okay, that's pretty nice. You can sit on the side. You can sit on it. Bag 2! And the other pieces from in here. Oh, I missed a lenticular. Oh, I missed one. That's the... Is that the ending of Link's Awakening, or is that... I think that might be more mid-game. I would swear that's one of the photograph moments too, but the photographs in the original or only in DX? Because there was a thing that when you got the game had the photographer in it, and then if you had the Game Boy printer, you could actually print out those photos. They did a lot with Link's Awakening. Oh boy. But yes, that's why the other reason why this is in a special bag all by itself is because it's printed with the battery door case stuff. And we had 2 pips left over from the last step. Yay. No. I'll stay better organized. Just a little bit. Everything on the floor. Okay. Clean that up later. Okay, so now I have my tiny bag pieces and my main bag pieces. And again, you can all sit on it. I guess you can just sit there. I kind of want that the other way, don't I? I need the lines to line up. Help me. Okay, we are starting with green and offset double, but also do it more. And around the corner. This track has such like tropical island vibes. This is Regulate. This is under hip hop and rap. Oh my god, what are you gonna make me do with this? Okay, hang on. So we're doing this. Okay, that is what I thought. This is going to be apparently our this goes here, and then these are what connect it. Okay, now that's all one piece. Oh, that's not our Game Boy screen green. But we are just gonna make it 4 and then fill it across. Okay. I kind of need to know why we're doing it this way instead of just like using a big plate. Okay, then add this so that way it continues there, and then fill it in the rest. Wait, so also it's, oh yeah, I guess that does make it even one edge on each side, but that makes it an odd number because it lands, this is 9 across now. Okay, all right, okay, yeah. That's why we need one extra column. I guess that's the column, depending on which way it's turned. Why this? I feel like the single pip smooth is one of the most atomic Lego pieces. If you want actual smaller, you could take like the base to one of the levers. You know, you take the lever part out and you just have that little tiny nubbin. That's probably a smaller piece, but like this should actually be a variant on one that has a pip. Smooth is a modifier on it, but I would say like round is a modifier on this. I don't know what my point I'm making there is. There's just something. It's like, you know, we talk about the edges of the universe, but then there's also like the center of the universe. It's like the two extremes of the boundaries of the concept, and a smooth one pip plate feels like one of the boundaries of the Lego concept, you know? Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, you want me to do that? All right. So starting here, and then splitting on the middle one, and even on this, we're going to put these grill plates, and we're going to do this all the way up. Okay. All right. Okay. Again, why this? Sorry, not all the way up, leaving the last one. Track is okay, nice and bouncy. Again, not quite digital enough for to be fitting of my zone, but it's good. It's got a bounce to it. All right, now that we have that, now we place our battery pack door there. That seems wrong. Hey, I'm looking at that now and that feels wrong. We'll compare it later. You want me to take a long boy and just start adding roundies. Are you gonna want me to do this whole thing twice, but symmetrically? Okay, so one of these weird boys with a matching brown weird boy on top of it. Then another this with, again, one smooth pip plate. That fits there, but overhangs the top there just to really... I'd say to get on my nerves, but that's not why. It's so that this one can go there. Why? All will be revealed. Watching the movie explains the movie. Sorry if I sound like any of y'all's parents right now. I'm also aging. Right. One of these. Then do a weird thing. Okay. Yeah. Take a little L thing and put 2 pips on that. So now it's almost lost that. Now it's block high, and put that pip on the side. Now that all sits under there. That also gonna go right here? I bet that's gonna go right there. It do. What'd I do? It doesn't, though. Is it only 1 pip, not 2 pips? It is! I followed directions wrong. I'm gonna blame that on being tired. I'm gonna blame anything but myself. That's all of our God-given right. Don't exercise it, though. Recommend against exercising it. So that all goes here, and then this clips under here. And also... No, that part stays gapped and it just on top. Oh, right, because the cartridge needs to slide in. Right, this is probably round for helping slide carts. But yeah, now definitely build... Nope, this one is different. We're building it on the other side, but this one is different. Put a 2 there, but offset and then fill it in. I mean, I guess it makes sense you need an overhang to grip onto a new piece, but come on. Using one of these in here, that's... And putting it on the in-between so it just fits. Why would we not use a I'm asking so many questions. I will never be satisfied. Right, and then that clips onto that one overhang. And then this does everything but these top 3, which is filled in by another one of these offset doubles. That's also placed offset. Come on. Why are you doing this to me? Using so many of these round boys. Okay. Then all of this again clips in here. Why would you have me put this on yet? It's so ready to fall off, considering it's only held on by one that we're moving. Yeah, I don't want to put that back yet. Oh. Okay, yeah, I guess now we're kind of building PCB parts. Okay. So just like the hooks on this cart that are that hold this in, we're doing those same hooks again inside, but these are like shiny gold because I guess they're being the copper contacts. That's a nice little thinking it through. I like that detail. I do like that detail. And it goes... Oh, that's probably also why it needs to be an odd number, because these are going to line up centered on an odd number. Okay. Good, and that's now sandwiching it in. I feel better about that whole thing. This one fell off. Oh, I guess you want this on because now that's going to help support specifically that one row as we do this. But this is the piece that's really going to help it connect to the rest, I think. Okay, I whittled these parts down enough. I'm just gonna that. Because now I need this buddy boy and this one. It's weird roundy corners. I never really deal with the roundy corners, but that's because usually I'm struggling just to make something exist from the pieces I have. Never mind look good. You know, it's like I just need to get the concept out. This track. Am I actually missing a piece? I think I'm supposed to have 2 of these right now. And I don't. I might actually be missing a piece. Alright, nothing left in here. I don't think I missed any. I know I poured some pieces, but nothing. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Unless I'm just blind, which I have been many, many times before when looking for pieces, but... I'm shaking it anyway. Oh. That's concerning. I mean, I'm sure I have one of these pieces I can get elsewhere, but got it here on camera, right, folks? Or did it not pour it? Oh no, I see it. When I poured the bag, it didn't. It got stuck in a crease. Look! Oh, look at that! It's just barely trapped in there. Found it. Wow, that was. I was gonna say I don't remember the last time a Lego kit was short. Like, it's always kind of impressive that you are getting like exact counts of everything in every kit, especially when it's like, oh, sometimes you only need 1 or 2. Like, I would expect there'd be way more extra pieces in a Lego kit, but no, they kind of get it spot on so often. It's amazing. Now we're going to do a weird thing where we're going to put this offset half round whatever, then put this on it. And then put that in here. Just because that weird notching up, it's going to give me the agita. That's why we're doing it. And then that all... Yeah, that all goes right there. Oh, that is just enough to fit in there. See, again, why not use other ones that'll make it fill in and get more grip? This isn't one of the ones that's planning on being removable, is it? I'm trying to remember. There is a reason why there's like a weird beveling that happens on this side. That's why you might not do it the same way, but... Okay, that is kind of satisfying how these round pieces fit in and rounded it out. All right, yeah, now that we're looking at it all together, it's like, okay, this is starting to make sense. Are we sure this isn't upside down? Yeah. I am digging this track. Again, not as a theme song for the stream, but I just dig it. Okay, no, it is going to get rounded. No, that's right. This is more round than this corner. Yeah, it's asymmetrically rounded. That is true. This is like a 90. This is a... Well, I mean, it's also a 90, but with a wider diameter? It's got a bigger diameter on this circle, I think. Can you tell what I mean when I... Yeah, that's a... this is a sharper angle, but this is... They turn the same amount, but a sharper turn here. Okay. Now, okay, I think now this is going to be also part of the, looks like we're moving into some of the sliding slots for the cart. Maybe. And this whole thing weirdly goes up here. Oh, I think this is going to poke through to the front side. No, it's not gonna. I thought this was gonna be the red of the red light for a second, but that's not poking through the front. Oh, I keep getting excited and then it's throwing me curveballs, and like, I'm not necessarily upset. The most upset I am is at myself for like getting excited over and then being wrong. That's something I have to work on in therapy a lot, is how much it hurts me to be wrong. It's fine to be wrong most of the time. It's about your follow through. What do you do when you're wrong? Being wrong itself isn't an unforgivable sin, you know? Being wrong isn't bad, but as long as you're apologizing and trying to make amends. Oh, this is going to be one of the slots on the side. That's the link cable slot. Also, the way that we're connecting this with one pip, and then this is a peg that's going in through these roundy boys that we used earlier. So that's really going to lock it in there well. That's a clever use. I don't know why we're using the different methods in the same piece. Maybe it is. Maybe it's a way of getting the specific lineup, but I don't know. Definitely works. Okay, now we're making one on the other side. This on this side, I think would be the volume, and we'll need two because we would need like volume and contrast. Or no, is contrast on? I don't remember. You saw me hold a Game Boy like less than 20 minutes ago. I'm just forgetting. My brain is melting. And yet, I keep trying to use it. There was a part of me that was ready to call this Awesome Nights just because I was having, you know, a day. We're on to bag 3! Hooray! Wow, there's only 5 bags. This is a much quicker build than I was expecting. You know what? That's good. I don't need another 5-part build like the Modern House. I love the Modern House. It's also one of the things here on my shelf. I think it's one of the things you can see in the wide shot even, but we were working on that for a long time. I don't like having things in progress for that long. Now, what are you? Normally that's how like a cape would come. What are you going to be? Or maybe some string? Are we going to do something with string in here for something? That's a different small pieces, but I don't only have the one small pieces box. I could pull out the other small pieces box, but I'm simply trying to make it hard on myself. Very low-key masochism. This is the extent of my masochism. I will make playing with Legos slightly harder on myself. Okay. Now we have that, and we're sticking. Ooh! A little angled printed select button. Okay, all right. Okay, so we're going to be building. Oh yeah, and then here's our D-pad piece. We're going to be building the face this bag. Okay. Yeesh. All right. Doing 3 pins. One goes here. Oh, so we're doing some real snots for the inside here, I guess. Look at me throwing around terms like snots as though I know things. Ladies, if a boy says he knows things, he lying to you. Boys have had knowledge bred out of them in the last 70 years, ballpark. Not sure where I'm getting that number from, but ooh, that's a curious thing they're gonna have me do in a second. Why are we leaving a gap? Hello? Hello? First of all, I was already under the table. Hello? Mine's up here. Now, is that a shiny pip? Yes, it is, which I believe will be this. Sometimes I have a little sparkle on the part list for when it's like a sort of metallic colored piece. But then I can't tell if that's the color I'm looking at in real life. You know, useful. Okay, so you want me to take one of these and one of these little rubber... Not a grommet. It's not a widget. What would you call that? And then we're going to stick that in there. And that's why the gap, because that's going there. What is that going to be for? Is that going to be for a button press? What is it? I need to know. I need to know so bad. Okay. And then now that's pinned in. Oh yeah. These are the tires that we're going to be using for Start and Select, and they are light gray. I've never seen tires molded in this color plastic, rubber, I guess, before. Or are they plastic now? Just a very soft plastic. Plastic technology has come so far in the last however many years. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Sorry, I'm jumping ahead, but again, you'll see in a second too. Wasn't expecting to hear that in one of these tracks today, but okay. Okay, so now you're gonna have me press here, but we're also putting a bunch of these. Because that now looks very much like D-pad contacts. So I think this is going to give the D-pad some squish and move. I was not expecting that D-pad to have any sort of textural, pliable element to it. I figured it would just be applied to the surface, you know? And then this whole thing sits in here. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yes. It is simply placed in there. It is. There is no pip, no other connection. It is currently simply placed in there. Wow. Okay. You want me to have, I think this, but it's a weird color in the manual for the first step. That honestly looks more like a printing error to me. Maybe, it's hard to tell. You. One of these. And this cross, right? Then leave it aside. Okay. One of these, but also double stack it. Okay. And then fill in under it. Oh. Okay, so we have this, and it wants us to put these facing up. Yeah. And now my precious little, I've lost them. There you go, start and select. And start goes on the right. Start goes on the right. So it wants us, when they're here, start goes here. So the select button that I'm holding goes there. You start? No. You start? Yes. Okay, now this is completing this. Okay, so that's why we were using the flat one, because we're doing some nonsense in here. That down. This. One of these, and one of these, and this right over top of it, and the whole thing fixing here. Oh, I like when they build it so it sits flush when you get all of it together. I like a nice flush build, like a toilet. Okay. And now more contacts. This is gonna go here to even that up. That's there, that's like that. I'm gonna have a 4-piece go across up here. Oh, the little archway piece, because right here is where I don't think bottom center was headphones. I think bottom center was, no, maybe bottom center was headphones. Oh, I don't remember. There's also a DC input, but that might be, oh, it's not quite actually, yeah, you can't, oh, right there, you can see that it's not centered in that hole, but it implies what's there. Here. And then, oh, yeah, no, there's a plate that says phones on it, because that is the headphone jack. Okay, well, okay. I'm glad things are well labeled after a fashion. Okay, is this also going to simply... No, this one is going in and landing on one of those pins. Okay. So then... Ooh. But now that just overlaid. So now that piece is now locked in now that we have that. Okay. Don't think I forgot anything there. This one on the side here feels like it's going to be trouble with that pin right there, but we'll see. It didn't have us put a flat plate on it or anything. Okay, take a red brick. Put a contact in this corner. Put that there. And I'll take the whole thing and place it... Ah, that contact is where this pin is going. Good. And then that now pins that all in on the other side. Yeah, that's squishy. That's gonna be for D-pad. That's gonna be for... because it's gonna want to rock. I don't know if it's gonna, like, make it center well, unless we add something to this D-pad piece. But yeah, once that goes there, that's gonna give it some rocking, at least left and right. We'll see. We're not done with it yet, but that has to be where they're going. One of these. And it looks like we are making the top side of the buttons, the start and select buttons. Hey, what are you calling this music? This is funky dance and electronic. All right, I guess if we're leaning more on the dance and sort of mumbling through the dance and there you go. And now this fits in here and leaves the gaps for our tire buttons, which I'm actually a little surprised if that means there's not really going to be anything holding them in besides like friction, I guess. All right. Got this. Got this. Put in one of these. That's going in here. Right here. And are we going to pin that down with another piece? Maybe, but that'll be later. We need this. That has to go there, even though that leaves a weird gap right there. Oh, and then there is a Nintendo Game Boy plate. Yeah. I wonder if it's intentional that they're having us place a lot of these printed plates first so that we get a sense of what we're actually looking at. All right, so this thing's also going to be like thinner than I was maybe expecting. They're really cramming. I mean, it's Legos. Well, that's the thing. It's Lego, so I would kind of feel like, oh yeah, we're going to make it extra thick so that way, like, you feel like you're building something with some heft. But no, they're kind of just as thick as it needs to be. Yep, here we go. We take our D-pad piece. On the bottom, we are putting a contact. 4 pips. Oh, if I dropped that one, I would never see it again. It's okay, I have an extra. And I still have the extra. And then one of these pieces. And again, that just sits on top. Ooh, yeah, that gives a lot. Okay, because it's on that, yeah, that... Again, so far it doesn't... Well, maybe just being in whatever sort of base plate we're about to put it in. But, like, now it is definitely thick enough that, like, it'll be able to use the front plate to keep it aligned. And then it's going to want to sit pretty... But yeah, no, that's squishy. Oh, that's going to be a good fidget toy. Did I No, okay. You want me to put that in first? All right, man. Whatever you say, Chief. I'm gonna put you there. Oh, because it does need to be there because the only thing holding it in is just catching these little sticking out corners of the round. Okay, so it does need to be in there first. Okay, and then also this piece. And now with those two in, it's caught into two corners. And yeah, it's still not a lot of play in the move. Well, more than you might expect, but like, yeah, now it's trapped in there, floating on the rubber, but pinned against the front plate. Okay, all right. And then these are gonna fill in around it. Oh, you. That's pretty. Wow, yeah, that actually does want to stay centered pretty well because of the way it's being pushed forward. When you release it, it returns to center, and it's got a squishiness that I really wasn't expecting. This over here feels like it's catching on the square edge. I don't know if... It had us put round pips underneath it. I would maybe have gone with the square ones, just so that way it was sliding better instead of like going from the round to the corner sticking out, but... That's such a nice little detail that there's actually play in the D-pad. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Right. What would you have me build next? What is... Oh, what? Okay, I need to follow this step by step. First of all, one of these pieces, which I feel like I've never seen before, it's... Oh, this is a 1 pip plate. It would be a dot, but the rim around it is stretched out extra long. It's long enough that you're not going to be able to put two next to each other. Starting with that, then a contact, then a purple, then you put this box around it. Wow, I've never seen this piece either. It's got these weird fingers on the inside that are gonna keep this from being able to fall through, right? And now that we have that, just these button caps. Where did these button caps come from? Don't tell me these were made just for this, because like that just looks like a Game Boy button. I feel like I've never seen this used in another kit. Oh, that's gonna go right there for a second, and then we just do another one of those. I know I'm a weird curmudgeon because like the idea of like bespoke parts per model irks me, but I mean like that's kind of the thing about Legos, right? I don't know why it would irk me. Like, yeah, it's fine if you want to do that. Okay, so are we gonna put more rubber on the back of this? We are. Wait, I do have this backwards. This side. Right. Okay. And we're gonna build, what is this piece? Okay. Bit me. Now, one of these weird too high plates blocks. It's either a tall plate or a short block. It's exactly the same integer to get from one to the other. No, wait. These go here. This goes across the top to lock it in. This one goes here. Okay. So now it wants its little box. Ah! Because its little box is gonna be... I won't cut myself. A single rubber band. And so on this part, even though we put these hooks, we're not using them to clip onto anything. These hooks are for holding the rubber band in place and specifically holding it under or right across where these go in. So they are also, that is what's going to make the button to spring back out from the front, more or less. Those feel much worse than the D-pad. But again, it's a nice touch. You made it work somehow. I would maybe have found a better... Because also, I see a single rubber band, and I'm like, that is something that snaps. Like, I was like, I'm just old enough now that I remember back to getting, like, you know, like the balsa wood airplanes where the propeller worked by twirling up one rubber band and just being like, as soon as that rubber band goes, your toy is dead. It's not that bad in a Lego kit, but like compared to this the rubber grommet in here is going to so outlast that rubber band. We're talking, you know, over a decade or more before it matters, but that's what I think about, because that's the kind of broken I am. Oh no, are you telling me... Oh my god, that's the A button. That's the labeling for the A button is on that one brick. Oof. Hey, my music stopped. Need to manually go to the next page. Show me VHS video. Has me do that, and then that, and lengthen this at the bottom. And you want me to put it... Oh, we're connecting it to this here, so we lay it in... But oh, and here. Okay, so they want us to lay it in just there. And then squeeze it in this way, and now it lashed. Okay, and now we have a smooth plate before the pin. That's kind of what I was expecting to see, but they had to squeeze in one more thing before doing that. Okay. Not at the last... No, we're only on bag 3 still. Okay. Give me one of these. And that goes on it, and this overhangs it with the contact underneath. And then this goes here, and putting this dot here, and another contact on top, sure. And then the whole thing... Okay. This is supposed to be the speaker, the little tiny cheap speaker or whatever you get in there. It's going under this piece, and this is, again, to get that matching curve on that corner of the Game Boy. This is seems to be a purpose molded piece that I'm already getting on my filthy fingerprints all over. But they're having us build the speaker and then hide it under here. That piece hit the floor. It's okay. It's a nice big piece. Can I pick it up with my toes alone? get some friend toes in there, 2-player toes. Don't. Oh, I got it. Hey, it looks no worse for wear. Okay, so we want the curve to be in line with the curve. Sure. So again, we built the speaker and then we if this piece had the actual like holes in it the way that the case does, because it's printed on it how it has the holes, because you know you need a vent for the sound to get out clearly, but no. Yeah, come on. Clear that out. And then one of these. Oh, that's going to be the contact that's going to land on that pin, huh? Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. It's exactly what we're doing right now. Yeah, and even that matches with the inset there. Ugh. Now we have the A and the B. Yeah, those don't feel like they do spring back, but they don't feel great. And part of that is actually because they come out further than the rubber band pushes it. So like you push it in, there's very light pressure, and then you let off of it, and it actually like follows your finger pat, like it'll jump out. Yeah, you can't see it well, but like that. I wouldn't be complaining about it. It's a nice detail either way. I wouldn't be complaining about it so much if this D-pad didn't feel so good. You do such a good job on that, and then these are like, oh, like they are literally next to each other on the face. It's like, this feels so good, and this. Oh, and now that one is stuck. Oh, no, because now that I put this piece on, that's not got enough room to come back out. Buyer beware, I guess. I'm doing everybody a service. I don't know. Let's see here. We got a few more pieces in here. I'm gonna stack these together, and these go on top. And they clip here. Then a contact here, and this green up here. Now they're at least clipped into each other. And this over top. Ah, and then they want me to put, yeah, they just go in there. I mean, it doesn't feel quite right, but like they're springy, they push back. That's what I'm saying. When you have something like this, if there was a way that we could have like hidden one of these under these buttons, they would have felt better, you know? But everything is squishy and pushable in a way I wasn't expecting. Those are nice touches. Yay. Yeah, that other computer's complaining. Don't worry about it. Bag 4. Before we do bag 4, I need to stretch my back for 5 minutes. So I'm gonna run a quick ad break for the people here watching live, and for the people on the archive, you won't even notice we're gone. So don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere, anybody. We'll be right back. Ready? We're back. Crack them in the chat. As soon as YouTube lets me have custom emotes, I'd say crack them in the comments, but that ain't the world we live in just yet. All right, back to it. Time to open bag 4. Okay, it wants me to Oh, right. We still have a whole like screen section to build. Yeah, like it's kind of crazy that they've had us build like straight through the like control surface of it, but there's a whole like top half. Well, no, the top half of this isn't going to be that thick, right? Because it's the screen, which is really just a frame for the lenticular to sit in, and then the back is just a cover for the game to slot into, right? So oh, I see it now. Never mind. Okay. All right, let's get to it. Oh, there's our printed battery light block. Oh. Oh, like a transparent door piece. Okay. You. On this. Extended with this. Ended with this. And for some reason, also clipped with this, but also this one. Nope, not that one. That one has here. Let me separate all these ones we're writing. This track is very funky, I will give it that. You want funk, this is a track for you. Dot matrix with stereo. I'm guessing that's the one. Sound. Why did they break that? Why did they break that one? That's like iconic for being a straight solid piece. Okay, so this goes here. And then put this aside for now, I guess. We're starting with a 6er. 6 in the city. Thank you. What? Never seen it. Monica? Bill. And I am so old. That joke is for nobody. Wow. Also, I was going with Monica Chandler Ross, and that's not Sex and the City either anyway, is it? Here's the thing, I never watched those shows. First of all, I was a child at the time, and those shows had too much talking and not enough, like, Ninja Turtles or G.I. Joe action. But also, I'm not a fan, even now, I'm not a fan of the comedy of some people are just kind of silly and dumb, and I'm like, yeah, and they're my least favorite kinds of people. Okay, so we start here. This one is over here, off by 1. This is sound up to the end, and then again, just fill in a 1 gap. Why you gotta do me like this, Lego Game Boy? Now, what is this? We took this, we stuck it in that way. Now we put this in there, and this one goes in sideways. Is that gonna be our power switch? That's gonna be our power switch, and because of the pin, it has like the click between the inner and outer section. That's what's going to give the power switch such a satisfying click. Okay, all right, fine. You win this round. We need some more pins. I don't know how I feel about this, like, very pin-centric snot design. In a way, it kind of reminds me of, like, old metal toys that are, like, full of just, like, metal rivets to make stuff connect together, and it's just, like, on the one hand, yeah, that's fine, but that is almost like, it's almost like to establish a technique outside of Lego, and it's just like, oh, now we're just building stuff. you know, I want a more like Lego, a solution with a certain like iconically Lego clunkiness to it. But God, the split between stereo and sound, that you can see the split better than you can see the writing on the camera, unless I hold it right there, then it looks okay. Uh-oh. What was that voice? Okay, did that. Now put that aside. Now I'm gonna swoosh this doodly doo. That was a good fart just in one ear. Just a wallflower over in the corner was like, "Oh, can I join?" I'm sorry, I changed my mind. Okay, so we're just using these pins to snot both sides of it. I guess it's not that they don't work, and you know, it's not an official illegal snot techniques. Is I still have fun calling that out. Right, and this is going to go here, and that's going to be the bottom of the pocket of the power switch. Oh, that is way stiffer than the Game Boy Power Switch ever was, but it's a really satisfying click. Although it almost feels like a click. We'll see when the whole thing is built, but that feels like the kind of click that like applying the amount of force needed at a given angle, depending on how it's sandwiched into the rest, like that feels like a click that might tear things apart. You can even see how that's only held on by one pit, but that's like, is it going to do that to the whole thing? Oh, that is a pretty good fidget toy. Hey, this kit might just be a good fidget toy, even if it's not actually capable of playing games. Follow my next stream? No, I'm not. It could totally be done, but I'm not doing it. I'm not quite at a spot where I could do that in a stream. I would have to mess it up too many times before being able to do it like as part of a show, you know? Oops, I'm skipping steps again. Skipping a lot of steps, actually. Because I'm not paying attention, because my back kind of hurts, and I'm looking forward to laying down after stream and just having this day be over. As much as I love sitting here and just rambling to y'all and listening to these sweet tunes, again, another track that I am enjoying very, very much. It is not the sort of electronic funk I was looking for, but this is Q Train, and this is pretty good funk. I am going to star this one. Okay, now that it's pinned, that feels a much more secure nap. Having this so close to me is actually making me hold it lower in frame. Okay, and now simply backside attach it. Oh, then how are we going to put the lenticulars in? Oh my gosh. That's what this is for? Is you were going to put the lenticulars in through the cartridge slot there, and then push it forward to pin it against the front, and then the cartridge itself will hold that in place so the lenticular doesn't fall out. That's pretty clever. That's a pretty simple solution. Everything comes out through that back slot. Because I won't lie, originally I was thinking like, oh, there's going to have to be like some kind of slot up here or something. Or I didn't think on the sides, because we're putting the controls on the side. But yeah, as everything comes out through the slot, and just like we hide how open it is with one of the gosh, because thinking about it, like for any of like the promo shots of this, do you ever see it with a cart further out than this? Because this, you completely hide secrets like that. Oh, the click already clicks. Oh, I've given away the game. The click already clicks. Yeah, no, that is not, I am not as confident pulling that out. It's a pretty similar friction holding it in. That feels just about right. That's kind of wild, actually. Again, I'm jumping ahead of the game. I'm speed running. I'm sequence breaking. I can't stop myself. All I can rap about is crime. Okay, taking this. I feel like I should be putting on the rubber gloves to deal with this so I don't smudge it. It's already been smudged. Well, I have a thing for that. At least want to make sure the whatever the inside side is going to be will be smudge free, because you can clean the outside from the outside, you know. Let's see here. If I'm just looking at this, that's ambidextrous. This is kind of ambidextrous. I think this side has more molding marks on it, so we'll put that inside. Again, good funk. Not what I was hoping to stumble into, but it's good funk. Not that I really know from good funk, but I'm enjoying it. I recognize it as funk, and I'm enjoying it, so good funk. Oh, I even did it so now the copyright will be... The copyright molded into the piece will be legible from... Oh, no, because it's going to go sideways, isn't it? So, all right. Who cares? You never really know a man till you go to outer space with him. Keeping my pieces too well separated is giving me a headache. Go figure. Okay, this piece, and we just switch that in here, and then we just turn it into a normal size brick. And that goes here. Then this one gets rounded. Yeah. I mean, the instruction did say assemble those together before attaching to the thing, but you know me. Oh, and now we're going to use these across? Okay, hang on a second. So you want one to go this way, one to go this way. Hip, our delightful power block, and then smooth on top. See, that's also kind of a weird thing about it, right? Like, so many of these pieces that end up smooth on top, there is like official snot technique. Like when you look at like the side of this, like it has to put enough plastic in there that adds a thickness that, like, so many of these techniques you can't just end up attaching to pips on multiple sides. Like, as soon as you start doing this, that amount of extra plastic needed just to make this work, like, changes so much of the math of making everything connect. And, like, yeah, you can make it work, but, like, oh, but are we about to make this work? Hang on, I think it might be about to show you what I mean in itself. So we take this, that's forward, this is here, which connects that bottom side to the bottom of the screen. And it wants us to put to here. And then it's gonna have that tiny gap there. Like, the fact that this lines up pretty flush, but like we've already had pieces that are, you know, snot on one side and a hole on the back that we could work with. Where did we put those? We used those way long ago. But like, we've had pieces like that, but I bet there's not one that lines up perfectly that it could go there and go, because, like, I think that's right. That's the thing. If you add another to that, it sticks out. You cannot make, there's not an amount of plates that are flush to the width of a block, you know? Like, I like an illegal snot technique, but like an over reliance on it, there, you know, even in the official kits, there's sort of like an upper limit to how nice that stuff can look, because at some point, yeah, there's just an upper limit to the math working out. Now I'm breaking everything. So now this will go right here. Oh, but it fits right there. It's exactly short by how wide that is. All right, so maybe the math is fine. Maybe I'm just mad that I can't do that math well enough. Yeah, that lines up perfect. Dang it. Dang it, my point. You done ruined my point. Get off my lawn. Ugh. But also, it's not the piece going on it. It's the piece... It's just so... It's just so. It's great. The fact that maybe it does work out in the end is great. But wait, how much weirder does that make it? Maybe somebody did sit down and do the math. Like, it feels weird because we have this, and then it's smooth up to here, and then we have these putting pips right there too, and then it drops back down. So there is like I kind of wish that math was simpler, and that there was a way to... It might be just like a half plate width. Maybe that's the secret about it. Am I actually like learning? Am I having a breakthrough on my concept here from this build? Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, that's in place now. And we are going to put a disc on a thing. And that is going to simply sit here. Should have had me attach that before putting the screen on. Wait, where did all of the... Oh, all those pieces go on in this one. Okay, so maybe attach that piece later in this one step. You know, I think I'm just getting tired and grumpy. I think that's happening. It's been known to happen. Okay. Do this piece. This lines up and grabs the bottom of that screen. And that's going to help me have... It's going to help keep it lined up and such as I press here. Now that feels... Ooh. That's got a pretty good... friction on it, actually. Ooh, better than I was expecting. Now what do we put around it? We put this, which hasn't connected anything, and this, which hasn't connected anything. That's the DC power hole then that we did all the way back in that early step. And now I have exterior connector, I have volume. We have this one, which is unlabeled. That's a texture one. Oh, there it is. Okay. It was hiding with my knife, because that's for the contrast control. Label. And this goes under, and then fill in with a single, and then goes there. That's that side. Ooh. Yeah, grip on this side doesn't feel quite right. Like, I think it doesn't quite stick out enough. Again, I'm jumping ahead. We'll get to the comparisons later. Oh, and this piece goes this way, finally connecting to that gap we left in there. Right, that was that weird piece that was the T piece that we put in there. Right. Wow, that was a long time ago. Wow, I do love it when like even the angle pieces sit flush. That goes in. Oh, but then that's just going to be wedged in by the plate over it, which is going to be volume here. What? We're not actually going to have a hole? But I love having a hole. Don't. Listen, I'm baiting you at this point. Don't take the bait. Be better than that. That feels weird. That feels weird. I swear that's sticking out more on one side than the other, but that can't be. Maybe I just have more sensitivity in one index finger than the other. Okay, so now it says pick your lenticular, and I would like the Nintendo boot up screen. And it's saying take this door off. This can come all the way down. And can go in here, held up, back on. Wow, that is so set back in it. Like, it's cool, but that is set back even further than the real thing, I think. Wow. Again, we'll get to that. Oh. 5. It's finally time, y'all. Oh, good thing that was extra. I never got it unstuck there. This bag is very small. Yeah, that's going to be another cartridge. I mean, yeah, there's a second cartridge we need to build. We have yet to build. I don't think I have any down here right by hand, because I moved them upstairs into other places where they were like, when I have friends over, I might entertain. But this is very much the same way I've started a lot of my Lego display stand builds for real video game controllers and not Lego built simulacrum. That one. Are we gonna sit it on that? Yeah, we are. Interesting. Why? I cannot help but jump the gun. Oh, that is actually the next step, is that little peg goes into the headphone stand, and then there it is. I want to call it the bumhole stand. You want to peg the bumhole? No. Not on Twitch. Okay, that sits at a pretty nice angle. I'm going to feel good having this displayed somewhere. Put you aside for a minute. Oh, but that means that the Game Boy itself. Oh no, let's finish. Let's do the other cartridge, and then I'll do my full comparisons, because I got to put the cartridge in the Game Boy, right? Right. Is this a different style? No, this can't. Why would this be a different style of cartridge now? Are we just building it in a different order? You know, to make sure, keep the romance in the relationship alive. Less. Okay, just one. Kids don't have an appreciation for the single sneeze these days. Everybody's like a 2. Sometimes twos and threes are pretty popular. I knew a girl in school. This one has, oh wow, this one's printed with like a button battery. Wow, so it is built differently. Zelda would have a battery backup, so this one has a piece for a battery backup that only nerds like me would really care about because it's going to be hidden inside. What? Shout outs to the nerds who designed this, who kept those attention to details. Honestly, it's definitely a certain level of kindred here. I see you. And then again, it doesn't have the dip. It's just, that's, of all the other nice touches, you're missing the dip, and that's like the thing. And again, that tiny little overhang, it's enough. I could take the two from the cartridge, take them out to the sander and grind them down the tiniest bit. I could. I just, the lightest touch to shrink them down to make them actually flush. Oh yeah, you think snot not on top. That's recursive. You think I have opinions about the math when you start using snot techniques. Let me tell you about the offset pip math issues. Right, there's a Zelda cart, and then the actual instructions are to place this cart into the Game Boy. Yeah, look at that. That's so much. You're just seeing the back of the lenticular. I would have assumed, you know, a similar thing, but just wider. That is a very, I mean, I guess you don't need a lot to be holding it in, but that is a very small bit to be, oh, that actually, like, that takes so much force it actually hurts, and that's, okay. That's the time. There we go. Now we have the Lego Game Boy in all of its glory. A lot of nice details on this. I like that there's a squishiness to all the controls. That D-pad especially, I'm shocked by. I like that they did it for the buttons, even if I don't trust a rubber band. The controls, that's not a real port. I feel weird about that. I don't remember if the DC in was marked on the original. The headphones, there's so many like little things that are gonna bug me, but only because I spent so much time with a real Game Boy in my time. Speaking of, time for the showdown. Wow. Okay, a tiny amount shorter, but that's good enough for government work. Wow. Hey, you ready for me to get real picky about this? Let's see here. Buttons are big. About in the right place, but you can see like the top one is about in the right place, but the bottom one, oh, I can do this. Oh no, where'd I put it? Is it here? Oh no, where'd I put it? No, it's here. Say hello to my ruler, because I'm a pain in the butt. There you go. Just straight across the bottom. the top of them very much line up, but the D-pad's a little bigger and the buttons are a little bigger, which feels wild, right? Like, because like this is already pretty small when you pick it up and hold it, and the fact that this is smaller than that, I'm not gonna lie, the it might be hard to pick up on the camera, but the D-pad having these little like 2 dashes on each one, I feel like that's weirdly iconic. So the fact that there wasn't like a printed plate that we use for the top of this that matches that is almost surprising to me. Also considering all of the rest of the buttons are like soft and again like things you would actually press, and then you're pressing on the most like good feeling one has the pips on it, so it's also it is the best and worst to feel. They got it right where this is a much sharper corner than this one, although you can see it is even sharper here. Like that is just a square that's been rounded off a little bit. Oh, is that maybe what we were going for a little bit here? Maybe that's what we were going for by having these adapter plates up here. Feels a little like that. Wow, the difference in the like font size. This is way bigger. How does that screen size do? Is the original screen bigger? It's close. The battery is more centered. This feels a little weird, right? Because I'm thinking about like in video games when we look at like, oh, you know, this game has been remastered, re-released, whatever. Remastered especially, it's like, oh, now it's in widescreen and 60K, and maybe we, you know, up-res some of the textures and just a higher resolution and whatever. And everybody says like, oh yeah, now it looks the way we remember it, right? So it's this idea of just like, oh yeah, in our mind, you know, rose-colored glasses, whatever, we remember it looking like, oh, this was the best thing we saw at the time, and we look at it now and it's like, all right, it's not the best thing, but it's still really good. You go back to the original thing, it's just like, wow, this was the best thing we saw at the time. This is kind of doing an opposite thing. Like, it is definitely just like yeah, that's close enough to my memory of it, even though like then when you actually compare it, it's just like, oh, a lot of things are off. That the split there is killing me. That's the only one. The rest of it is just like, you know, I'll nitpick things for the sake of having something to say, but putting that split there is actually like the most upsetting thing to me. Is that lined up right? Yeah, but it lines up just about right. God, the phones is so much bigger. Like that is, again, hard to see on the camera, but that's so tiny. Okay. Yeah, so the actual molding here wraps around, but that's not bad. Ooh, chunkiness? Okay, so the Lego one is a little shorter, but the tiniest bit chunkier. Okay. Again, for doing a design in Legos and making it fit, not real complaints, but I'm pointing out the differences because I'm shocked it's that close. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay, so that was unmarked. Oh no, what's this? No. Ooh. This one says, I don't have bifocals yet. Use only DMG-03.05 DC 6 volts positive collar negative center. Okay, so this is essentially labeling that this is the DC in. That label is missing from here. Wow, yeah, look at how much thinner that wheel is compared to this. And now let's talk about that port. The fact that like this is a black piece, but then that's just not. Like, honestly, if we had put a black grate piece in there, I would have felt better about it. Yeah, we're gonna talk about this back in a second, but these grips, like that's part of what helps you keep your grip on it, is that it's ribbed for gaming pleasure. This is just having that ribbing across the back, right? Okay, now we got to talk about this. We got to talk about this. I got to talk about this. So this is the thing that it took me a while to get. Oh, the ribbing goes up past that, but it doesn't here. I was like, why is the door here? This is not the part that comes off. Because it's not. Because this down here, oh, is the battery door. Hey, it's not super corroded in there. Go me. And maybe I actually cleaned it at some point. But so the idea that like, but that means that this part of the clip is a piece of this. So the idea that it is like, it took me a long time to figure out that that's what was going on here. Like this piece of design on the real thing was related to this rather than, because when you see the you know, a plate with the piece on the edge, if you don't have them right next to each other to compare to, you could kind of get this to be confused for what this is. It's not. It's like literally the opposite. They've just crossed over where they go, you know? I can see why they did that. Because, you know... Oh, even the way that this bit sticks up a little bit, that actually feels nice. But, like, yeah, you want all the ribbing across. And I know they don't really make, like, the ribbed... hey, Faded. Just finishing up the Game Boy kit. I know they don't ribbit... Frog ribbit. I know they're not doing it around the side here because, you know, they don't make pieces like that. But honestly, the fact that there's supposed to be like 2 more right here in line with that, that's... And I know you wouldn't put all of this info, but you could put something. Gosh, and the fact that this, like, this serial number to... Ooh, hey, they're different. But, you know, that, again, that's big. That would have, like, a barcode. If you're going to leave blank spaces for something, leave a blank space for the barcode, too. Then, again, you look at it, and you look at how much shorter this is from... Here, I'll be fair. I'll line it up at the top. Right? This one is a bit shorter. God, this part is kind of killing me, because this... Oh, 89 421. Blaze it. I'm a day late for doing this. Oh. Okay. That's cute. Does it say that in the book? I kind of really sped through the intro bit of the book. But also, yeah, if you're just getting here, this is my Game Boy that I received as a present. Wouldn't have been like 89, but it would have been maybe like 93, 94. I still remember the Christmas. And one of the games I got with it at when I got it was Top Gun for Game Boy. Not a good game. F tier. I'm willing to revisit and redo the science, but interesting. Okay, other things to compare. I said my spiel about the back. Fine. Let's talk about this power switch, right? Ooh. Oh, that's stiffer than I remember it being. Here, hang on. I do love the way that the Lego builds do that. Firefox. Pause. I had a feeling by Track Tribe. We need to see. This is going to get noise gated out. Wait, I can turn off my noise gate. Computer, turn off. Disable my noise gate inhibitors. That would be this one. This one. All right. Apologies for the noise, but we gotta. I can hear the little metallic springiness in there. Now let's hear this one. Ooh. Could I have just done this for the past 45 minutes and called it ASMR? Okay, so the this one is definitely stiffer. But also, like I said, this one got years and years of use, so I'm not surprised the friction on the Switch is lower. I could try replacing this triple pin with an old one I have, and I bet that would ease up, but that's not bad. It's a much further slide as well, but everything is, you know, it's kind of weird. Like, the overall shape is like a little tinier, but then all of the elements of it are a little bigger. Here, I'll turn all the noise removal stuff back on. If we need to hear more clicks later, I'll adjust it. But it's not bad. Honestly, so the fact that this one is rounded on top makes such a difference to this one being the straight pip. Like, I would almost say, like, if they had you put a rounded flat on it, because then you are pushing more on a side rather than on a like an edge. Because in a weird way, like, would that match like design as directly? No, but it would match experience a little better, because this doesn't hurt my finger to do. This hurts my finger a lot, actually. These rubber tires are way, like I said, everything is bigger, but ooh, and they're not quite as angled. I think the angle on these is a little bit sharper. Oh, there's tiny arrows molded around the D-pad. That's not represented here. Again, the actual, like, oh, you can see these really are popping up because of all of the dust in those grooves. Here, can I do anything about that? I bet not. Oh, a little bit. Come on, this is grunge earned the hard way. I didn't just move to Portland to get this grunge. Is that a joke that plays in this day and age? Yeah, having the actual, I want to say, so when you, what is even the angle on this? This bit that dips down here, this is actually a pretty sharp bend, is the way that it feels, like, to the point where it is in my memory, whereas this is very, like this feels like it melted and collapsed. That is very smooth. This one is just like, you're here, you're angled, you're here, you're angled. Oh yeah, you can kind of see the sharpness of it there. Yeah, you can see it from that. So that's actually, and I don't know why, but for me, like, this, when I was making the custom overlays for RetroArch on my Anbernic, because it had a 4x3 screen, and so certain games weren't filling that, including the original Game Boy screen, because it's a weird 240 by 160, not even 240, I forget. GBA especially needed it, but like this angled grid thing with the slight, like, shading change that comes with the bend, that is like the iconic Game Boy design that I put on those overlays to make it feel like a Game Boy. So to have this one, like, I would give it just like the the printing instead of the full on molded grips, but like that incorrect angling there is killing me. And also, like, this is definitely, the angle is perpendicular to the angle of that. Here I'm trying to read it, and I think the angle is, like, these are this way, but this angle is actually like counterclockwise from perpendicular. And also I can see where I scratched this piece up when I was picking it up with my feet. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Nobody mention it. It's fine. That'll buff right out. That'll buff right out. We don't have to bring insurance into this. That'll buff right out. Oh, these dials. Oh, give me the dials. Not bad. The knurling on this one is a little bit better because this is one of those gears. This is closer to like actual gear teeth. This one is that weird half gear where at the bottom it comes around and is flush, so that the teeth don't actually stick out more than anything else. I know, like I said, I'm not trying to like downplay it. I'm just being picky. The only thing that actually bugs me is on the cartridge, like putting the notch here, good. The fact that this one overhangs enough to get that off, that's the only thing about this kit that actually bugs me. Like I know putting it on centered is wrong, but I would kind of rather have it wrong in that way than having this overhang that is just enough for me to notice. Okay, our dials look good. I complained about, because I do complain, this like again, you can see the AB. That should have at least been a dark piece if we weren't going to try to do the like the actual shape of the connector, because it's weird, right? It's one of those like it's kind of like a USB, but it's in the middle instead of offset to one side, and then the angles here are, again, because I had one of these cables, for some reason the shape of this connector is sort of burned into my brain. Oh, interesting. Huh. Oh, and then right. Here's the thing I wanted to check. So we saw that in here, this one actually did have a battery backup part. Which means that this has an actual backup battery in it. Oh yeah, this one, now this is definitely heavier. Like when it was here, now that somebody's actually here to watch, I'm going to show off the fact that I still have all my old stuff. So again, when it was the comparison, yeah, no links in this chat. That's fine. You can join the Discord and post a link there. Whatever. The games that don't have a battery backup, these are actually pretty close in weight. Now that, again, I don't know if maybe my wrists are getting tired, but I swear this one's a tiny bit heavier, even though it's also a tiny bit smaller. But when it comes to the one with the battery backup, yeah, no, that's absolutely heavier, because there's a big chunk of metal in it that the other ones don't have. Ooh, and again, the reproduction. So this one again isn't exactly directly. Oh, ooh. I was using my phone with the camera to try and help everybody see better. So this is the actual Game Boy cart. So again, mine is DX, which, and considering how close the Mario one was, I can absolutely believe that this is a difference. This one has the only for Game Boy, no, official Game Boy game pack, and it doesn't have the ESRB rating, which I think is actually kind of interesting. I forget when ESRB started. This one has the ESRB rating and not the official game pack. Is this one unofficial? But yeah, the thickness on the line art on this reprint is pretty noticeable. Like honestly, even from this far away, you just give it the, y'all are sort of having a built-in squint test, and like the outline on this is so much more prominent. Although, because it's the red on the yellow, like that's also the higher contrast here. The yellow here is darker, but again, even then, like the red letters on the yellow stands out. You can see what's going on. So fine, interesting. I just think they're neat. Marge voice. But good, now that we've had that comparison, so we want to take the ones that are more equal. We gotta talk about it. Oh, wait, I just closed it, but this is another one we gotta take the noise gate off for. Okay, official first. feels pretty good. Feels like nostalgia. It's not bad. It's different, but it's not bad. Again, my big thing is that because this is just a flat plate, you don't get this little sunken oval, which is just like, that feels good. And honestly, because this is on the hooks, it has a much more defined click in, and it's just a gentle little pip, and then it's in. Whereas this one, I kind of forgot this, but like it goes down, you hit where the contacts are like actually starting to hit, and then it pushes in, and then it goes down to the bottom. So it's almost like a 2-stage click in, because it's like, here it is, push in, then hit the bottom. It also takes like more force than I expected to remember in a weird way. Oh, yeah, even going in takes more force. I wonder if that's because maybe I have like some corrosion buildup on my contacts or something like that could be affecting it. But like when I saw the way that we were doing it here, I expected like, oh, that feels pretty good, you know. When I touched it without having the comparison, I was like, yeah, it feels pretty good. But doing it here, like, you really gotta, this is how gamers used to have such strong thumbs, doing this 100 times a day. This is also a better way to clean your contacts than blowing on the cartridge. God, but really, this oval in, this is one of the most, like, the strongest tactile memories of the Game Boy for me, and using that to get it out, whereas this one is just like, and also, like, it's, so this, you know, this sucker would love to eat double A's, and so without them in it, this one might actually be a little lighter. Weird to say, because like I bet the plastic shell is more hollow. Like, this one feels more hollow until you look at this, and as soon as I see that, and I'm like, oh right, there's like, feels like there's that much, missing is too strong of a word, but it's just like it's one of those, like, if you close your eyes and you're like, okay, which one is hollow, this one feels hollow, but when you're looking at it, you're just like, oh yeah, this one, especially with that, it's like, oh, this one is hollow, which, you know, radio and TV. Even into sound of it, which actually, okay, if I take the battery case off, because the battery case is rattling a little bit. Now if we get in here close. Ooh. Okay, when you take the battery case off, it doesn't sound quite as hollow on the cartridge noise. Is that screen? So it's hard to see on the, no, there you can see it. So again, the original screen, there is like a drop between the front plate and the actual LCD display. So there was always this sort of like shadow box feeling of like, yeah, no, it's a little bit behind what you're looking at. But compared to this is, I honestly, for a second when I was looking at it and I realized this was just like a sort of like plate glass window kind of piece, I really thought like, oh, did they size the lenticulars to fit right in there? Because then it would fit pretty much right against it. And honestly, the thickness of that plastic of the window would be a little better, maybe. I don't know. It's interesting. But that is so far a drop back. That really feels like sorry, I'm just watching the lenticular. Lenticular, sure. Oh, okay, but that, I just picked up the wrong one to put it in the case. So whatever I was saying about not close enough, forget it. Oh, that case is bulging. It's barely hanging on to being closed. Oh, let go. Free the lad. Okay. All right, so it's pretty close. It's pretty close. Can't give it too much hassle. It is pretty close. Ugh. All right, that's gonna do it. Again, either way, like I'm still impressed by it. I love. Again, I was not expecting the controls here to actually have squish and give to them. This D-pad I'm still losing my mind over. I absolutely love that. And this is gonna look incredible sitting on a display shelf, you know. There you go. Zelda can sit out here. With this, and it looks weird because y'all have the overhead view. I'll just put these aside for now. But yeah, no, this is pretty incredible. And that's gonna do it. I'm gonna find a nice spot on the shelf. I might see if people will let me put this on display, like up in the living room. I like it so much. But yeah, that's gonna do it. Thank you everybody for hanging out. Thank you, Faded, for showing up here at the end. I'm sure you're ready to go call it quits for the night. And I am too. So, any housekeeping? Only housekeeping is, again, mark your calendars, May 19th. I'm not doing a good enough job of promoting this, but we're doing bonus round. We're going to do fundraising for the National Immigrant Law Center, I believe. There's a link somewhere. The link is... I need to set up the bot to have the donate link show up. That's what I need to do. I can do that off camera. Anyway, mark your calendars. We'll be doing it here. Check socials. I'm sure I'll be posting about it there. I'm gonna try and mention it every time I do a stream, so we'll see how well that goes. Aside from that, that's, you know, we're still in April. Have a happy rest of your April. Is there one more stream before April's over? There is one more stream before April's over, and I believe that's just going to be more Silk songs. So, yeah, if you're watching live, join me again next week for that. If not, enjoy the archive. Enjoy whatever video auto plays next. Perhaps it's another one from this playlist. Wouldn't that be lovely? Yeah, thank you for hanging out. I had lots of fun. I hope you did too. And until next time I see you, take care of one another and have a wonderful evening.